If you're thinking, wondering, or dreaming about a career in construction, this video is for you. Whether you are a college student trying to pick your major, or someone who's just thinking about a career change, today we're going to talk about the 10 things that you should consider if this is the right industry for you and if you will find success. So if you're ready to go, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and hit the notification bell below so you can join our growing family here on YouTube. And now let's get into it. So number one, are you a problem solver? And this to me is one of the biggest things. If you don't like solving problems, if you don't enjoy that process of coming up with solutions, construction is not the place for you. There are so many things that go, I guess, wrong on a construction project, but just things you're gonna have to work through, and it varies from technical things to behavioral things. You're consistently solving problems when you're in this industry. And this is a skill set that's not specific to construction, but it's a mindset that you need to have, that you wanna be able to find solutions. You're not gonna run away from the problem. You wanna attack it head on. And this goes if you're working for a general contractor or even as the construction manager on the project. Each side will have its different set of problems, but again, still things that you're gonna have to go through. It's just gonna be on different scales. Whether you're solving problems for the owner, whether you're solving the contractor's problems, or as the contractor, what problems you're solving for the means and methods of how you're going to build the building. There are definitely people in the industry that run away from their problems. Those aren't the best ones out there. So number two, if you enjoy working with people, this may be the place for you. Construction is a people business, and there are a lot of different types of people that you deal with in the industry. And I feel like construction is more so people-centered than other businesses. You have the actual workers, you have the owner, you have your subcontractors, and those people can sometimes have very different backgrounds. You're going to have to learn to deal with very different types of people. Your working class guy and someone that's a developer that maybe is kind of a silver spoon kind of person. How do you talk to these people? How do you solve problems together when they have two different mindsets? If you're good with people and you can navigate that, I think you'll do well in the industry. And number three, you have to be okay with the gray. The gray. And what do I mean by this? Construction, there is not just one answer. And this is something that me, with the engineering background, had a little trouble with this actually. Because in engineering school, right, like you always are trying to get to that one answer that you can box, on the bottom of the paper. But construction is not necessarily that way. There's always multiple ways to get to any outcome. And that's one way to tell if there's one guy out there saying there is only one way, usually a red flag. Now, there are better ways than others, for sure, but there's always gonna be multiple ways to get there. So because of this, you may have to take action on things when you don't have all the information. Again, you're always kind of living in this gray area, kind of collecting as much data as you can, and then making your best educated decision before you have all the facts. Because with your tight budgets, your tight schedules, action is one of the most important things that you're going to have to take when you're doing a job. But again, if you're the kind of person that needs that one answer, that can't think outside of the box or realize that there's multiple solutions, you might have a hard time in construction. So number four, construction is a dynamic environment. So what I mean by this is that you're not doing the same thing every day. And that can be good and bad depending on the type of person that you are. If you want to be somebody that comes into the office every day, you do the same thing, you have a routine, not a lot is changing, you're just kind of improving on the skills that you have, construction is not exactly that. There are days where you maybe have a concrete pour, then the next day you're looking after material delivery, or maybe you're solving a different kind of water issue. No single day is necessarily the same, and to me that gives it excitement. That kind of keeps you on your toes all the time. The other layer of this is that you're never stuck in one spot forever. Construction projects have an end. Well, unless you are on one of those that take forever to finish. But most construction projects have, a couple year time frame. So that means every couple years you get a new team, you get a new challenge, new owner. So there's a lot that changes to keep things fresh. But again, if you're the type of person that kind of wants to just go in, stick with the status quo, and just kind of have that routine, have that consistent nature, construction may not be that for you. So number five, patience can really help you in construction. And it's kind of an interesting dynamic there, because I was saying earlier, when you're living in the gray, you need to take action. Construction is about action, but patience for your results is, I think, important as well. And that's results in just how much you're learning, how quickly you get promoted. The ones who are more patient, that are focusing on gaining the skills, understanding that this is an experience-based industry, those are the people that build a very strong foundation for them to build upon for their career. And if you've watched a lot of my videos, you know that I'm very high on this, that construction is this experience-based industry. Anyone across the board, I mean, unless you grew up in construction, to me, I don't care what your degree is in, I don't care what your GPA is, until you get thrown out there into the field, everyone is basically on a level playing field. It's whoever uses their experience the best, who gets the best experience, kind of squeezes as much out of that as possible. Those are the people that end up rising to the top. And the ones who are patient enough to take the time to gain the depth of knowledge, again, are the ones that build that wide base so that they can build and soar all the way to the top. Those who are impatient and just want to get there quickly, they just want to climb the ladder, you can get there. But again, your foundation is so tiny that something's gonna knock you over sooner or later. And construction is one of those businesses that people can tell if you don't know what you're talking about. Because it's experience-based, it's not something that you can just fake your way through, because somebody that knows will be able to tell. So if you have that patience, if you can focus on learning and building your skills, I really think you could have a great career in this. And number 6, paired with patience at number 5, being hardworking is one of the ultimate hacks for this industry. Again, experience-based industry. So what is the only thing that you can do to get ahead? You spend more time. I don't know why I have 2 hands out, but you spend more time. That is one of the easiest ways to close the gap and compound your knowledge on top of itself. And that is one of, to me, the greatest things about this industry is everything you need to learn is on the job. There is no book out there, there's no class that you can take that can replicate the in-field experience of the industry. No one can teach you what it means to convince a subcontractor to do their work that's in their contract when they're refusing to do it. And that's what makes, to me, this industry very cool, is that it is all in your control how high you want to soar and how successful you want to be. So if that's you, I think you can do very well. And number 7, if you enjoy physical signs of progress, there's, to me, no better place than construction. A lot of times progress is maybe like, in data sheets or whatever, right? Like, I don't know how other people view progress, but in construction, you can physically see the bridge getting built. You can physically see that building going up. These are all tangible items that tell you how close you are to the finish line. And at the end of the project, there's a physical representation of all the work that you've done. And to me, that's one of the greatest things out there. Everything in that building has a story of how you contributed to it. And if that speaks to you, if that tickles your fancy, again, I think construction will be great for you. And number 8, and to me, if you've already nailed 1 through 7, you should be running already to apply for this job or to be in the major. Like, I don't even know if you even make it to 8. But if you're here, number 8 is financial interest. So as much as it is really cool to build and to solve problems and to do all these things, construction is not a non-profit. In order for your company to stay afloat, you need to know how to make money. And there's a lot of ways to make money. You can make money through your production in the field, making sure that you're setting your crews up for success and making sure that they have a great plan. You're not being wasteful. The other way is just the way that you manage the project, manage the costs, understanding your budgets. And whether you're in the field managing that or whether you're managing the contractor, those are all ultimately very important things to the industry because cost drives a lot. So you will only get so far in the industry if you refuse to attack the cost issue of the business. Because if you don't understand how to make money in the business, if you don't understand how the business can lose money, where the risk is at, again, yeah, you'll only go so far. So it can be fun, you can have all the fun, but you will be capped if you don't take on the financial responsibilities. So number 9, contracts. Our contract in construction is the rule book of the game. And this is something that right out of the gate, you probably won't get too much exposure to. I think it is more important that you really like all the other building stuff, the personality side, the work ethic, all that stuff. I think that's more important, but eventually for the longevity of your career, you're going to need to be able to understand and be able to read contracts. Understand what the rules of the game are, understand again where your risk is at, what your responsibilities are, all of that's going to matter. So again, like the contract and the financial side is just giving you the whole picture of what this whole thing is, right? It's just a little bit more than just building something. And number 10, there's gonna be some BS, or I believe it stands for bad stuff. So I know I can sometimes paint a rosy picture of the industry, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong, right? Like if you work for a big construction company, there's gonna be some corporate office politics you might have to deal with. There's always the lawyers that get involved, and that's, never fun for anybody. There's gonna be varying personalities. We kind of talked about how you've got the workers that are different personalities than the owner. And you know, sometimes owners may be the worst one. There are people that will just be completely unreasonable and testing every patient's limit that you ever had. But if you're okay with that, if you understand going in that, you know, and I think any job really has a lot of this stuff, but construction can just have it on, you know, different ends of the spectrum. So just be aware. And if you're good with that, and honestly, if you're good with all these 10 things, I really think that this career can be really great for you. There's a very specific reason why none of these 10 skills say that you're able to calculate a concrete takeoff or that you're able to differentiate under a curve, right? Like, those technical skills are not as important to me as the behavioral side of things. I really, truly believe that if you have the right attitude, if you work hard, if you're patient, you focus on learning and building your skills in the industry and giving it the time of day, that you can achieve anything that you want in construction. So if you have any questions about anything that I talked about, please comment below and I'll do my best to reply to you. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe and hit the notification bell below so you can join our growing family here on YouTube. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and I'll see you on the next video.